Hola, mis amigos. Es macro lunes. Me llamo Andy en el Ático. En los días, bebe Tecate para Cervecería Cuauhtémoc Moctezuma en la Monterrey, México. Gracias.
Tecate nights where the stars collide. Raise it up, let the rhythm ride. Cold as the moon, bold as the tide.
Donde El Baño, and welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer that we are drinking and reviewing. It's another Macro Monday, and we are back to give you our thoughts on a macro beer that you have likely tried. There is, hi May, there is, I don't know what Andy is in Espanol, Andy in the attic.
Andy en el Ático.
There you go. Me es Benito. K, we drinking today?
Your little Ben. Your little Ben. That's who you are. Tecate all the way.
It was terrible. If you're still watching the show,
yeah, it's
cheers to
Macro
you.
Monday.
Macro Monday.
It's international flavor.
Yep.
Huh?
We do not mean to offend anyone by the show either.
Correct. I mean, if you've watched any of our episodes, you're probably offended.
German pronunciations. There's a whole country that hates us.
Yes.
We made an attempt to speak the language.
See.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Tecate. It's a Mexican lager. And they describe it as a Pilsner type, actually. 4.5%, 14 IBUs. It has a malty, crisp flavor and low to medium bitterness. This beer was originally released in 1944 and by Tecate Brewery in or Cervecería Tecate in Tecate, Mexico, which is in northern Baja California. It's Cervecería Tecate started in an older brick building used to produce vegetable oil. That was pretty cool. Repurposed building. It was acquired by Cervecería Cuauhtémoc Moctezuma in 1954, so 10 years later. And interestingly enough, Tecate was the first canned beer in Mexico and is currently the leading brand of Heineken Mexico, which, spoiler alert, Cervecería Cuauhtémoc Moctezuma, that's the brewery, is owned by Heineken.
Thus it's a
Heineken Mexico. Yeah. So the headquarters are in Monterrey, which is in the state of Nuevo León. Or León, if we're doing it in Espanol. It was originally founded in 1890, that brewery. Their original brand was Carta Blanca, which was interesting, as the first beer that they produced. There was 5 founders that started it up, and that was what they got it off the ground running. Carta Blanca is Spanish version of carte blanche, which is French for blank paper, and having complete freedom or unconditional authority to act as one wishes in a particular situation, which I think is interesting considering what I'm going to tell you a little later about what happens, because that might sound familiar because we've gone over this brewery before. But before we get to that, they did win first prize in Chicago and Paris World Fairs. This brewery did. They didn't win it with Tecate. They got it with Carte Blanca or Carta Blanca.
In what year?
They didn't specify that. But this leads us up to the year 1910, which is the year of the Mexican Revolution. The founders, the 5 founders, threw their support behind the army general, who did not prove to be successful because his rival was a powerful landowner who eventually became governor of Coahuila state and eventually the 44th president of Mexico. And as a consequence, because they backed the wrong guy, the guy who would become governor and then the president seized the brewery. The founders fled to Texas. So I thought that was like, you have a beer called Carte Blanche, complete freedom to do as you want. Nope. You got to back the right guy. Wrong horse. They reacquired, the founders did reacquire the brewery through interventions by diplomats from the United States and Russia. So I'm wondering what the U.S. and Russia, what deals were made to get that back. In 2010 is when Heineken acquired the majority rights to it. And they actually have 7 breweries throughout the country around Mexico, with an 8th one about to open in the Yucatan.
Wow.
A bunch of labels. The ones that are most known to us, Carta Blanca, of course, Sol, Indio, Bohemia, Dos Equis, which we reviewed twice, actually. Tecate, Heineken, Amstel, Affligem, Kloster, Lagunitas. Now it's part of that. Strongbow, Miller Coors, Moctezuma, Noche Buena, Casta, and Superior. There's more that I didn't say. So
Right.
Never even heard of that.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah. We'll say. I like this was the new can. When I got the box, I was like, well, hey, new can alert. Because I was used to the label on the screen.
You look Edition Retro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't find a good
the old can alert.
I didn't find a good graphic to share that was the new can so go with the dated image there.
Well, evidently they don't have any problem with Puerto Rico recycling.
Or littering.
Sorry. Yeah. They make no mention of them.
All right. Well, thank you for that very informative session, Andy. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we all talk about the macros, and this one falls in line with the rest of them. It's even though it gets that little Mexican lager, but like Andy said, they even call it a pilsner in one area, so it's sweet. The aroma at first is a little off-putting. It opens up, I guess, but it wasn't one I was like, oh yeah. To me, it's just another Macro Monday. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Can you sing that for us? Just another Macro Monday.
His and now that we know he can't give sub scores, how do we rate this 6? So we got to rate it 6 by his mood, his demeanor, his tone. Yeah. So Ben, your and my scales for Jay's 6 has to go based on his whole description. So that would be more like our like fours, four
Yeah,
and a half.
I was thinking more 3.5. I think it's
Oh,
kind of
really?
sub
No,
4.
it's better than some of the other macros we've had, but it's got a lot of sweetness to it. And it's one that, yeah, if I go to certain places, I might have this if there's nothing else to choose from. But
What we're saying is we're going to have to start handicapping your score, basically.
I hear you, but I have given some low ratings to
Yeah,
things.
yeah. All right, Andy, what do you think?
In terms of Mexican lagers on more of a macro scale, you know, I drink them in certain situations. The beach, the river. It's gonna be hot. I'm gonna be outside, exposed. Or yard beer, maybe even after getting done and mowing or something like that.
Shower beer.
Typically, yeah, even a shower beer. Typically, I'll have a lime with it. I do enjoy the lime. I and this is my go-to of those. I got turned on to this. I didn't even know it existed until I was visiting family out in Tucson, and that's all they drink. And it was very popular there. And now after I was researching this, seeing that's the leading brand in Mexico, and they're really close to it, and they would go down there and vacation a lot in it throughout the year. I think it's got, to me, it's got more flavor and depth than cerveza. Gosh, what's well, not just Dos Equis is good too, but this is my go-to over Dos Equis and Modelo. But the other C word, the other beer from Mexico that
Corona.
Corona. Geez, why did I kept wanting to call it cerveza? Corona. I would put Corona probably the least in terms of flavor, but I got used to Tecate from them, and so I guess it's more of the family connection and being familiar. But that said, it's still a macro, but I like it better than most of the other macros, and I'll give it a 6. So it does me good.
See, my handicap is not a handicap.
This one's tough for me to rate, and it's one of those. If you'd asked me before we come on the show and actually try to put a number to it, I think I would have probably given it a higher number based on previous experience. I think sitting here thinking about it, doing it for the show, in the context of where we're drinking it, as trying to think about it and put a score to it, I think it's going to be lower for me than it normally. Maybe it would have been if you're just handing me a beer and I'm selecting out of a cooler of beer to drink. Also, I think I mean, there's not the corn taste that we get. I mean, it has some sweetness to it, but it's not the corn sweetness that just coats your mouth like the American macros. So I want to bump it up because of that, but at the same time, to me, I don't get just a ton of flavor out of this one. I get. I mean, it's a very muted beer to me. That there's a touch of flavor there, but it's just not. It's not strong in the sense that, like, if you're drinking an American macro, I mean, the flavor almost is more strong, especially now that we've talked about it and been drinking them. It's overwhelmingly the corn flavor. This one, and we've referenced this, and I think Jay again was the first one to bring it up. That the beer on the sitcom. I mean, this to me that's what it is. It's very little flavor. The flavor that it has is not bad necessarily, but it's just not much there. For me, it's the watered down beer flavor. Now that being said, if I'm drinking this as a filler beer, then yeah, that's probably what I'm kind of looking for anyway. But to try to rate it as a beer with, trying to encompass 3.5 years worth of beer show here, that makes it hard for me to rate this one because I don't particularly like it as a beer we rate. But again, I'm going to pick it over a Bud Light or Budweiser or something like that potentially. So, so what number does that equate to?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 5. I'm just going to go in the middle because I don't know. Honestly, it's fine. It's one of those, like we said, if you hand it to me, it's a hot day outside, I'm going to drink it. But am I going to ever go buy Tecate again? Me personally, probably not. I'm going to go I'm probably even going to get a natural light, as we talked about, more so than this. Definitely though, if I got this or a Corona, yeah, I would rather have this over that, as Andy kind of mentioned. So I think it has its time and purpose. For me, it's somebody's giving me a beer. All right, another Macro Monday has come and gone, and that is a 5.7 for Tecate. Definitely one that is out there. If you've had it, let us know what you think down below in the comments, and come say hey in our Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server and chat us up there. Andy loves to be chatted up, and you can talk about his, this thing he's got on his face there as well.
The caterpillar.
Yeah. I think I saw it move, in fact. We got some other links down below. Hopped Up Beer Review merch, Hopped Up Beer Review Patreon, some other things as well. So check all those out, and definitely appreciate you checking out this video. If you haven't done so, you do not want to miss future Macro Mondays. We got some good ones coming up. We don't know what they are yet, but I'm sure they're going to be fantastic. And so be sure to like, subscribe, cheers that notification bell so you don't miss any Macro Monday. And we're working on another idea to tweak Macro Monday just a little bit. Teaser there. With that, for Andy and the Attic and Jay in the bunker, I'm Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, man.